Isabella, don't you cry. Don't you ever think you wasted my time.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final day here of the New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. My name is Daniel Clinton. I'm joined by Blair Munro, the voice of New Zealand Ultimate.
How you going, Daniel?
Good. It is time to get this game on the field. Let's go. Well, it looks like Hammertron, the home team, the favourites in some hearts, they're going to start on offense here this morning.
As they face off against Marvellous DC, Dawn of Justice, one of the two teams from the Wellington Club Marvellous DC in the semi-finals. It's all coming down to this. This is the pathway for these two teams to make the final match and establish their dominance as the face of the best team in New Zealand Ultimate.
And straight away, Hammertron come out in the Flexagon defense. What we expected them to play, we'll see a lot of it here today. And it'll be up to MDC to see if they can pick this apart, because it gave no end to trouble to the other teams in this tournament. Hammertron are undefeated.
Dealt with the disc for Hines. Finds him, shot goes up. Troy Stevenson on the far side. The Hammertron zone has managed to catch up, applying that pressure. Hines again with the disc. Looking for an option, shutting down by the zone. This goes backwards for DC.
Doing a great job, Hammertron, maintaining containment of the zone, but they're broken now. There's the first point of the game. Took a little while, but MDC, Dawn of Justice, they strike, they hold their 0 point without a turn.
And we are about to see what happens when a razor-sharp sword like MDC, Dawn of Justice's offense, meets the grinding, gnashing gears of the Hammertron machine.
Both of these teams, they've looked good all weekend. Dawn of Justice do have a loss. They lost to Civil War, their sister team that is here this weekend. So their loss column does have a blemish.
And on the other side, we have Hammertron Prime, so far undefeated in the tournament, employing an entirely new style of play we haven't seen in New Zealand Ultimate very often, certainly not in recent years.
Well, not really across the world. The Hex is, well, it's brand new. And it's relatively unknown. So we're going to see how the MDC defense fares against it. As the Hammertron Hexagon it's wrecked some teams. Nice pull, outside in, it'll float. That is a top level pull right there. The defense already set, and Kelly Carter to go from her own end zone line.
Shot goes up, Michael Downey on the far sideline, but a pick has been called.
So Downey gets it. Looks like the stall will be 1 or 2. Yeah, stall 2.
Sends a shot across to find Vaughan Wilson, one of the key players in the Hammertron team so far. An absolute dominating force, as you can see here. Put the work in against the mixtape in the first stream game.
Downey has misread that. It just caught an edge there in the wind, and it has gone over his hands. MDC have the first turn of the game and maybe can break here early.
Shot goes up.
Oh, Kelly Carter had a huge look at that layout there, and she gets the block, I think.
Another pick looks to have been called. Liddell with the disc. Looking for an option. Getting blocked out. Sends one across. Finds Robinson. Shot goes up. Beth Williams with a chance. Martin Hutt's underneath it.
But guess who? It's Beck Soper. She's had the best read out of all of them. She had an absolute superstar performance yesterday, and it looks like she's wearing the same socks.
Rebecca Soper coming out saying, no, guys, slow down. I've got this one. You can take a number. Pulls that one down for Marvelous DC. First break of the game, a crucial break in this semi-final match.
Well, 2-0 to start. Oh, and the head spike. I love it. I love it.
The wind is starting to pick up just a little bit. Those long shots are going to become more and more questionable as the day goes on.
Yeah, this is probably the strongest breeze we've had all weekend, really, Blair. It's a 5 to 10 km/h breeze coming directly across the field. So from the bottom of the camera to the top.
Marvelous DC coming out on defense again. A beautiful, crisp pull.
It'll come down fairly quick, though.
Emma Taylor finds Michael Downey.
So the flood is the play call to get the flow going. Carter should be involved.
Shot goes up. Beth Williams.
Huge separation there from Soper. Carter with the throw and go.
But a pick has been called.
Beth Williams looks disappointed there. She was ready to throw a goal. There is a little bit of this grind and churn in the hexagon. Vaughan Wilson getting in real close. Beth Williams again. She's all kinds of open and she has dropped it. Oh, what a mistake that is. You cannot be making mistakes like that on the main stage.
Just a delicate little bobble. A beautiful shot from Vaughan Wilson, but it falls out of hands. The Tron, Hammertron Prime to come out on defense.
Oh, Vaughan Wilson! He's done enough! Or has he? There is a call. It looked pretty good here. It looked like there was a gap. They're going to have a talk about it. We see the closing speed from Vaughan. He undercuts it. Oh, all right, so uncontested. Foul is the call.
This comes in. Looking for an option. Long shot goes up. Finds Van Turnhout on the far side. Taiapa on the defense. Big Wings looking to try and get a bite of that disc. The up the line is cut away. Liddell back to Van Turnhout. Give and goes. The same long shots up. 2 DC.
It's just too easy. Riley Van Turnhout. He has just torn a massive hole in the Hammertron defense, and he's maybe even poked a hole in their hopes. There is surely a timeout call here is on the minds of the Hammertron leadership, because that is three in a row.
Riley Van Turnhout, who told us that even with his glasses on, he has trouble seeing from one end of the field to the other, saw a blur of colour that must have told him he had at least one receiver going for the zone, puts a shot up, and Matheson brings it down.
Yeah, both Downey and Wilson getting caught underneath there, and Turnhout reads and makes a really nice throw. It will be a timeout, so that is going to be our first break of the game. Teams will take a moment. A really great start for NBC.
Absolutely phenomenal performance. They come in as one of the top seeded teams in the tournament. And they are putting the grit and power and just sheer Frisbee nous that got them that top spot. And they're putting it on display against the locals.
And earlier, it's been really the two big performers, Van Turnhout and Soper for MDC, that have got off to a really good start. Really good start. I think from here, Hammertron just need to keep doing what they're doing. It's been execution errors this far, and you know it has been just drops and throwaways, and it will kill them. But the game is still very, very young. Crowd is starting to build and roll in. Hammertron being the local team, they're going to have plenty of local support, friends, family, randoms.
Commentators.
Because you're a local, aren't you, Blair?
Absolutely. I've played with a lot of these Hammertron Prime players in the past. I've been to enough trainings. I've seen the kind of work that they're willing to put in to perfect this new offensive and defensive style. Really try and shake up the current state of New Zealand Ultimate. The pool will be bricked. Tim Gurman to take that one in.
So this formation doesn't look like a hex.
Andrew Johnson streaking long. It's looked off. Michael Downey just keeps the low disc alive, shoots one up, and it's a direct turn. Eaten up by Becca Neal.
That's the second mistake by Downey this game. He had the drop, and now a really bad throwaway. These are gifts for MDC.
And they are the kind of turnovers that cannot be afforded. Hines with the disc. To Valdez, back to Hines.
Brilliant switch there by Vaughan Wilson, but heading in the end zone. MDC go up by 4. And you have to say it's not really from any kind of specialness from MDC. It is all on Hammertron at the moment. They are not playing well at all.
The team that wins a game with these kind of stakes is the team that makes fewer mistakes. And that happens to be MDC Dawn of Justice at the moment. Can Hammertron dig deep, find the grit that got them this far, that pulled them to the semifinals? Can they dig deep? Can they find something else and come back?
Well, if there's one thing you don't want to be talking about in a semi-final is comebacks when there's only been 4 points played. You would hope that it would be 2-2 or even 3-1 at worst. 4-0. What a start by MDC, their warm-up. Maybe their lack of attendance at the party last night.
Keeping everything crisp and fresh, knowing they had an early game, knowing they had to keep things clear. Or maybe the opposite's the case. Maybe it's a great opportunity to loosen up, make sure that you're playing your best.
So it'll be the Hammertron D-line now. O-line has been benched for the moment.
Lucas Wilcock finds Saki Cookson. Back to Lucas. Finds Hamish Furness. Absolute powerhouse. A long shot goes up.
Oh, that's what they need. That's not what they need. I retract my statement, and I regret what I said.
It's another opportunity for MDC Dawn of Justice. Now is the time for the Hammertron machine to start grinding, putting in that effort, looking to shut down the MDC sword. Mairangi Hogan on the mark, but the breakthrow goes. Van Turnhout takes it. Hines, big hut goes up.
It's not great.
Aroha Hughes.
Oh, drop the hammer. What a grab that was.
Liddell looks to reset. High shot over the top, but it's kept alive. Van Turnhout back to Hines. Those two putting in the finest of work for DC.
The Dominator, it looks good. They're trying to find something. They're in the red zone. The switch is good. The reset is not there. The trap on the mark.
Hammer goes up.
Free player. 5-0. This is not great for Hammertron, the locals. They are under the pump early. Wow. I think last night when the Hammertron team were catching some Z's, this was not what was featuring in their dreams. It's a nightmare at the moment. 5-0, drops, throwaways, it is all going wrong.
But a team like Hammertron Prime, 5-0, they've come back from worse in the past.
We're going to find out what kind of metal the Hammertron team is made of. We're going to see what their tenacity is like. How good is their resilience? Because this is as bad a position as you could be in. They're getting bageled at the moment.
It is their worst performance of the tournament so far. They come in 6-0 into this match to go down the first 5 points on a series of small mistakes that MDC just capitalize on. But their offense is setting up nicely, looking to establish that flow early, maintaining possession of the disc, working backwards and forwards. Vaughn Wilson, Kelly Carter, and Tim Gurman weaving backwards and forwards until they find Simone Ball on the far sideline. Just keeping those MDC players on their toes. Kelly Carter on the far sideline, one of the strongest rails on the team. Looks upfield, doesn't find anything, finds Simone Ball. Right through the middle to Tim Gurman, who's looking for anything. Pinched in by those players, the long shot goes up.
Go get it, go get it, go get it, yes!
A birthday present for Beth Williams. A beautiful long shot going up for the first point of the game. Happy birthday, Beth. The team has got you something after all.
Oh, I thought he'd thrown it way too far, but Beth Williams turns on the afterburners and gets a special grab in the end zone. Oh, that is one for the highlight reel. We are going to replay that one over and over again. Oh,
there
my
really
word.
is no denying the sheer foot speed of Beth Williams of Hammertron Prime. She will go toe-to-toe with anyone and just put on the gas and pour it on. And takes the first point of the game for Hammertron Prime, sending out the defensive line now, looking for a break opportunity against DC.
Great to see Williams get an opportunity to right that wrong. She dropped one of the first opportunities in the end zone. This time making no mistake with a speculative, or special should I say, layout in the end zone. The Hammertron defense now, they get a shot.
Wilcock pulls.
Taki Cookson is leading the way from the front. The veteran is down there in a flash.
Pouring on that defensive pressure, trying to pin the disc on this near sideline. Goes up, gets the swing around, looking for Neal. Soper through the middle. That flow, Stevenson finds it.
They need to get a little bit tighter on that pass through the middle. They're just struggling with containment at the moment. Cookson has a look.
Finds Soper on the sideline, looks for Stevenson. McLaren nearly gets a bite to it.
He needed to be there. There was a block
The
on
hammer
offering.
goes up. Undefended, Becca Neal. No mark, no pressure. Layout grab to keep that one alive. Throw went a little bit wide.
There's that pass through the middle again, though.
High blade to Troy Stevenson, toes it in. But a call's been.
Oh, okay, he's out. The very tall Stevenson hasn't got the length to keep that one in bounds.
And this is a golden opportunity for the Hammertron defensive players to score their first break of the game. Lucas Wilcock streaks long. Simone Ball finds Carolyn Farris. Emma Taylor winds up, doesn't send, gets it off to Tucky Cookson. Ian McLaurin streaking underneath.
Oh, beautiful cut there by McLaurin.
Goes just beyond the fingertips of the receiver. Mairangi Hogan.
Too many throwaways at the moment by the Hammertron offense. They're being too blasé with the Frisbee in hand. The calls from the sideline are coming. They're trying to close off that space in the middle.
Stevenson again, far sideline. Easy reception, pops one off, and it tumbles out of his hands. The Tron cannot afford to make this mistake. Again, they need to treasure the disc and keep that possession. Wilcock establishing flow, fires one off to Tucker Cookson, who receives. Ian McLaurin streaking deep, it goes.
Oh,
Fading
get after
too much
it,
to the
buddy.
right.
Get after it. Yeah!
Toes it in, Mr.
It's
McLaurin.
Did he have a foot on the line? It looks like they're going to count it as a goal. Well, Hammertron are doing it the hard way at the moment. The only way they score is with layouts in the end zone. What a grab. McLaurin. Oh.
Hammertron might be behind the back foot in the first few points of this game, but they are coming back in style. They are coming back with power. They are bringing the exact kind of dynamism and athleticism that defines the sport of ultimate. 2 layout grabs.
That's a 5-star grab there. Presence of mind to actually have his foot on the ground as he catches it. It's wow. That is amazing. And I just want to point out the leadership shown by Cookson there. He realizes the situation of the game and he inserted himself there and asserted his leadership. He was busting himself to try and get Hammertron back in this game. 5-2, that is technically a break. And that is a gigantic pull that has gone out the back on the full.
Hammertron to establish their defense. Looking to set up that same hexagon-shaped zone. Kieran McDonald to take the disc mark.
So MDC are going to run the horizontal.
And away we go. Van Turnhout with the disc. Looking for something. Nothing's coming through. A nice floaty shot up. Strong pressure from the defense. Overbites, creates an opening through the middle. Pressure on Liddell, but she gets one away to Van Turnhout. Sends the big wide shot across the field. Everybody's hustling, but Hines reels it in. The zone sets up. Wide shot back across to Van Turnhout, one of the power players for Dawn of Justice this tournament.
At the moment, the Hammertron zone is just sitting too passively in the area. They need to be a little bit more aggressive with their switches because this will be the result. If they don't, MDC just work it one side, then back to the other. They score 6-2. Hammertron to come out on O.
Beautiful floaty puts, taking advantage of the relatively intermittent wind that we're experiencing here. Just capitalizing one of those still moments to send a disc up and above. Just a nice floaty one to a very free receiver in that end zone to bring it down. Has all the time in the world. Reels that one in for MDC, Dawn of Justice's 6th point.
It will be the Hammertron O-line to retake the field. Vaughan Wilson out there. Beth Williams, the scorer from earlier. Downey, Carter, Ball, Diapa. And 4 men will be the gender under this prescribed gender rule.
Simone Ball takes the sideline. The pressure is on for Hammertron Prime. MDC, Dawn of Justice with a comfortable buffer. But this is not a team that they can really afford to take lightly. Those mistakes that define the first few points of the game have started to dry up. Hammertron have pulled their socks up. The engines are starting to warm. Vaughan Wilson finds Kelly Carter. And that same give and go, that flow-based play that's defined their tournament so far. Michael Downey finds Beth Williams.
The MDC women have their hands full with Kelly Carter. Every time I look up, she is free. They're really struggling to get any kind of containment on her. She is just creating separation at will, it feels like.
Kelly Carter with the disc. Breaks past that defensive.
Downey is all kinds of free. A miscommunication on defense. They have blown the coverage wide open. Downey on the end zone line is going to throw it so low. There is a foul on the throw. It'll come back to Downey.
A lucky opportunity. Get a second bite at that apple. Tim Gurman went to try and dive for it. Didn't manage to get a hand to it, but the disc does go back. It's as though that play never happened. Downey's looking for someone. Finds Kelly Carter pushing the disc back. Finds Vaughn Wilson on the near sideline. The shot goes up.
Vaughn Wilson is going to hang it out there.
Kelly Carter pulls it down.
He puts it on the clothesline. He airs it out to dry. And Kelly Carter brings it in, folds it up, and puts it back in the linen closet. 6-3. That's a very nice hold by the Hammertron. Oh, there is going to be a timeout call. That is, well, it was close. Vaughn Wilson has nearly missed this throw. But as I said earlier, Kelly Carter is just creating separation at will. And excellent coordination, body control. I'm glad to see Hammertron starting to warm into this game now. They're doing things the hard way, that is for sure. But great to see them starting to get a roll. And MDC, whilst they're in front by quite a margin early, you get the sense that maybe they need to lift a little bit. Maybe the momentum has shifted to the home team.
I think that with MDC's reputation, very easy for a team like Hammertron Prime, who haven't typically done too well in previous mixed tournaments, to come out in their own heads a little bit, knowing they're coming up against the throne, knowing they're trying to topple that top team. And so this really is an opportunity for them to hopefully recognize that they are competitive. This is the style of Ultimate they're looking to play. They're getting comfortable. They're finding those same connections that have allowed them to dominate pool play and get a berth to the semi-finals.
Well, Hammertron, this is historically their best result. Being top 4, they have not achieved better in the past. This is uncharted territory.
Hammertron Prime coming down on defense. Wilcock to pull. Just goes up. It's long.
Well, Wilcock has put that out of bounds by quite a few metres. So Broughton will bring it to the brick mark.
Defense are getting set. That same hexagonal zone. Players shifting, making sure they're in position to cover the matches that they think they can shut down. Shot goes up. Troy Stevenson on the far sideline.
There's that gap in the middle again. It's been really the soft part of this zone.
Hoban on the near sideline. Working hard with Soper, Neal, making that disc movement.
Oh, there it is.
Tucky sits underneath it as it falls to ground. Mairangi Hogan finds Simone. Looks for Lucas.
Ball looking to control the offense now.
But a pick has been called.
Ball, one of the more deadly red zone throwers. They're right on the edge. If Wilcox can get this back to Simone Ball, you would anticipate her to maybe look to throw the goal.
Anything but a scuba. I have on good authority that's the only throw missing from Simone's immense arsenal of disc shots at any distance.
She doesn't need it based up. Oh, that has come into the hands. What a catch.
Aroha Hughes to keep it alive, to keep the dream alive for Hammertron. Simone Ball.
She's just overdone it. She's going to call a foul.
Foul's been called. Players stopped.
Uncontested foul. Hickey catching her on the throw. contact must have been considerable. Yeah, see strong contact on the wrist if ball.
Hot to take.
Another
McLaren.
big call.
Another pick.
Lauren grinning with some amusement there. Cookson catches well in the red zone.
Looking for options. Doesn't find many. Finds Simone Ball with a quick, clean cut towards the desk.
Ball's gone. And there it is.
Simone Ball with the 4th point on the board for Hammertron Prime, bringing it back within 2 points. Break after break after break for Hammertron. That defensive line is putting the DC sword to the grind.
Well, MDC, they need to lift. Hammertron, all of a sudden, they have scored 4 of the last 5 points, and it's through the strength of their women. Taki Cookson as well, showing immense leadership out there. And it was the reverse of what I thought it would be. I would have thought that Ball would have been thrown in the goal. Instead, she's the one that creates separation and manages to catch the score.
Absolutely lighting up her defender. Cooking someone just like that on the home field, we call that a home fry.
Heather Hickey. He's getting burned on that inside space. Very Japanese, that throw. It's not exactly a break throw. It's kind of that gap
High
between...
blade.
Well, it's that gap between the force and then the downfield guarders. There's this inside space that's not a break, but it's not open side either. The Japanese use it to great effect, and Cookson, who in his career would have played against the Japanese, pulls that one out of his bag of tricks.
Neal finds Hines.
There's that middle space again.
Open.
They need to close in and try and stop that, because it is the soft spot at the moment, and MDC really not struggling to find that gap. It's going to float. Soper is going to drop it.
And this is an opportunity for Hammertron Prime to capitalize. Again, that wind picking up those dishes, as we mentioned during some of yesterday's games. The execution has to be flawless. Not enough spin means not enough stability. The wind will carry those discs and give the defense an opportunity to capitalize. The timeout has been called by Simone Ball.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. So that'll be their second timeout for the half. They're going to bring it in and set something up. MDC, if they go down another break here, that'll be 6. In the last 6 points, it'll be 5 scored by Hammertron.
The exact kind of momentum that Hammertron have displayed. They send out the offense, they score that initial point, and the D-line goes out and breaks and breaks and breaks. We've seen it from them all weekend. If there is a team that can put a stop to the runaway Tron train, it would be MDC Dawn of Justice. We will see if those young kids from Wellington have the tenacity to stick in this one and put a stop to that Hammertron train.
Well, I think one of the key things is Riley Van Turnout has been quiet in this game so far. You saw him early, he was heavily involved, and I'm not sure if he's resting or what. It feels like he hasn't been on very much. I think they need to get him involved in the game again. He has had an excellent tournament thus far. But Blair, let's talk insanity for a moment. Wouldn't it be crazy if Hammertron take half? After a 4-0 or 5-1 start, to take half, 8-4?
That
would be insane.
If Hammertron take half, the only people who will have seen it coming are the Hammertron players themselves and me in the commentating booth.
So, Ball just waiting for the support staff and her teammates to clear the field of play. Hammertron going to run the hex.
Simone Ball finds Hamish Furness. Carolyn Farris. Finds Simone Ball. Again, dangerous throws coming out wobbly in this wind, but they're kept alive. At Father Lehigh on Instagram on the far sideline. Low shot up to Kieran McDonald. Back to Simone Ball. To Furness. Kieran's going long. He's tall.
Yeah.
He's eating it up. There goes the Tron train. Choo-choo.
Oh my word, the last 6 points, 5 of which have been scored by the Hammertron. Oh my word, it is insane, this game. I couldn't believe it. I thought that maybe we were up for a bageling in the semi-final. The Hammertron team have said, nah, none of that now. All of a sudden, they have exploded into this game.
An absolutely incredible performance by the Hammertron defense. Again, this new style of play, this new dynamic flowing hex on offense, this really hard grinding zone that they're throwing down on defense, and then just capitalizing on any errors that MDC make. It is a complete reversal of what we saw in the first half of the game.
And I just want to return to the first point that Hammertron scored. It was a full stretch layout by Beth Williams. And that's where all this started. And then Ian McLaurin got a layout. And now they're just scoring, you know, what looks to be routine easiness.
A perfect pull.
They've let it fall.
Forcing DC to move backwards just to catch up. The zone, the Hammertron zone catches up to this offense. They're applying that pressure. Troy Stevenson, underneath a floaty one, manages to pull it down.
So Ball needs to play in here. She's playing too deep. Van Turnout is on the field. At the moment, you see Ball playing in that hat position. She's not really doing a job. She's picking up Broughton a little bit, but that is really where she needs to try and stop some of the movement from MDC.
Liddell gets the disc, and the zone clamps back down. MDC have made numerous passes, but they haven't really gained any distance upfield. Van Turnhout manages to keep the reset low. Soper on the far sideline, but the zone catches up. Van Turnhout again. Lucas Wilcox, big long arms, trying to shut down any discs. Manages to stop the reset, forcing those DC players backwards, exactly what Hammertron want.
So Ball playing in a better spot now.
Low shot goes up, but it's kept alive. Liddell sends it long, and it's kept up.
Great catch by Heather Hickey.
High shot to Broughton. Long one goes up. Who's underneath it? Hoban with the score. 1 point away from half. DC Dawn of Justice.
And a collective sigh of relief is breathed by MDC and all their supporters. Oh, it's always, things just get that little bit tight. When the other team's on a bit of a run and they've got all that momentum, you get that little bit nervous. You just, you know, that anxiety just comes in a little bit. And after that point is scored, I think the entire MDC team are just breathing a sigh of relief.
And there is definitely something to be said about the psychological advantage of taking half in a game to 15. This, for morale alone, is a crucial break opportunity for MDC. If Hammertron's offense come out and score again, pull the game back to within 1, and bringing Hammertron's defense that much closer to taking half, that could be enough to unsettle these top-tier MDC players.
Well, they have been unsettled thus far. That massive run Hammertron have just been on. MDC, not willingly, it must be said. They really struggled.
Downey, Vaughan Wilson.
Johnson not really reading the play. He's here on the near side, playing in the outside of the hex. He needed to read that give-go by Downey and cut down towards the disc rather than across the field. He would have been open. His defender is not really playing the angle.
Johnson with a nice pop reset, keeping Vaughan Wilson in. Beth Williams.
Taiapa is all kinds of free. Valdez, he tripped over. It's not seen, and it is turned over.
The high release forehand, maybe not the best option in these conditions, especially not against a team that can capitalize in the same way that DC can. Near sideline now. Zaraboa.
So they go to work. The inside shot, it's not there.
Andrew Johnson manages to get a read as the disc fades back. Another turn needed for Tron to keep them in this game. Shot goes up. Vaughn Wilson, the power player, the man himself, a big long shot. It's coming.
It's not coming back. Oh, Vaughn Wilson he's gone from hero back to zero. 2 throwaways this point. The man who never smiles, he looks more displeased than usual.
How can you tell?
That throw was just, it was never coming back. He never gave it enough height to work its way back in the field of play. The wind is helping that throw, but
a bit more edge, a bit more height. And even if that hadn't been received by a Hammertron player, it would have at least given the defense a great opportunity to force MDC to work back. Unfortunately, they're only about 10 meters away from their zone. It's a great opportunity for them to score. The high release. It's just outside. Van Turnhout looking for something.
oh, nice.
And DC, Dawn of Justice, take the half.
Well, what an absolute enthralling match we have. 8-5 the score. Hammertron, they're doing it the hard way, and they continue to make things hard for themselves. MDC, Dawn of Justice, the favourites arguably heading into this. They've looked shaky, but they've got 8 points on the board, which you can't take away from them. So we are going to go to halftime, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very shortly with more action here from the New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships. We look forward to seeing you shortly.
Get home, and when I get lonely, I'm wrong. Sometimes I just need to get blown. That's not no innuendo. Sometimes I don't wanna overdo it, tryna be the man, ain't tryna impress nobody. Just wanna express who I really am, and I know this ain't my best flow, but I gotta be me. Don't wanna compete, but if you really want it, then let's go. But I don't even really know what I want anyway. What I really need is to let go of the ego and chill. Sometimes I just wanna kill. Sometimes, 'cause we ain't got a lot of time. And it ain't no way to stop the time, but it make time to take time out and chill. Sometimes I just wanna kill. Sometimes, 'cause we ain't got a lot of time. And it ain't no way to stop the time, but it make time to take time out and chill.
I don't wanna say what's on my mind. I just wanna drink a little wine. Might get a little bit high. Spend a little money, waste time. I
Welcome back to the second half of our semi-final match between Hammertron Prime and Marvelous DC Dawn of Justice. A huge thanks to the Roaming Giant, the ultimate local in Waikato, located in Claudelands. Big thanks to them for hosting us and helping us provide a nice bit of relaxation for the best ultimate players in the country last night.
Some great pizza. Amazing pizza.
Speaking of round flat things, the Frisbees back in play in the hands of Kelly Carter, finding Vaughan Wilson as Hammertron Prime come out on offense. Kept just alive by Tim Gurman. Finds Anne-Marie McDonald. Manny Taiapa, an absolute threat. This is only his second season playing mixed. Absolute powerhouse. Finds Kelly Carter. Fakes off, signaling for the long cut. But Tim Gurman keeps hands to it, and it's just too long. It's a great opportunity for MDC to break the first point of the half. And a fantastic opportunity for Prime to really put that grind that they've exhibited this entire tournament into practice. And really secure the territory that they've made so far.
Go, Manny, go! Go, Manny, go!
The shot goes up.
Yes.
Tim Gurman with a hand to it.
Gurman getting his throwaway back. He levels the ledger.
Pick has been called.
Well, I'm not sure about this pick call.
Players are having a discussion.
Okay, no, he's not calling a pick on the disc. He's calling a pick on Wilson and his ability to cover the player. Which makes sense.
Vaughan Wilson finding separation, but the mark is applying a lot of pressure. That's Beck Soper, unsurprisingly, covering the disc. The long shot goes up, a lot of blade. Fingertips to it.
Carter just taking a shot down the field.
We've seen Tim Gurman come back and get the defense after a throwaway of his own. Can Kelly Carter do the same? Keep Hammertron Prime in the game.
Well, even if they do give up this first point of the second half, they scored 5 in a row not too long ago. It's not undoable.
Shot goes up, finds Becca Soper. Kelly Carter looking for pressure, doesn't put on enough, hoping with the disc. Manny Taiapa wants a hand to that disc. The shot goes up, it's long. Mairangi Hogan doesn't get to it in time.
Hickey with the speed.
And Hoban for his 4th, I believe, point of the game.
Yeah, it's interesting to compare the statistics for the both teams. It's been Van Turnout, and that's about it in terms of the assist makers.
Hammertron seem to be spreading the glory out a bit amongst themselves. It's exactly what you'd expect from really strong mixed ultimate. We're not favoring one gender over the other. Everybody is putting in the work. Everybody's getting a hand to the disc. Everybody is looking for shots in the end zone. And everybody has the confidence to put those discs up. The only difference between these two teams at the moment is just how much more effort MDC seem to be putting into these opportunities to capitalize on them.
Yeah, the five points by Hammertron, scored by 5 different players. They are sharing the love. Well, 9-5, Hammertron 0 again. That was technically an MDC break. They pulled out of halftime. And Van Turnerhout is going to move across to the D-line.
The pull goes up. Beautiful, long. Kelly Carter looks to be underneath it, but it's going wide. It will be bricked. That gives Hammertron an easy 18-meter gain up the field. Hammertron looking to to set up that same offense that has served them very well during this tournament.
I have to wonder if maybe MDC should think about switching some players around, maybe moving Van Turnout onto Kelly Carter, and then moving, say, Soper or Heather Hickey onto Johnson. Just to create a little bit of a different look and a little bit more pressure, maybe.
Beth Williams with the disc on the sideline, resetting to Kelly Carter. Finds Vaughan Wilson. Simone Ball, a shot.
Oh, what a great bid by Carter, but she's not
Low and too much angle. Kelly Carter can't get a hand to it, even though she goes to ground.
Hammertron are just playing too tight at the moment. They're trying to throw it to options that aren't quite there, and they're not quite making the throw. And that is translating to a big margin on the scoreboard for MDC.
As they say, haste makes waste. And it could very well be that forcing some of these options. The huck goes up.
Kelly
Kelly's
Carter
got a chance.
has come off her player to try and make the block. Van Turnhout makes a reasonably good throw, and Ketty makes the catch. 10-5.
MDC look unstoppable at the moment.
They really do look good.
What is the change that Hammertron need to make to keep themselves in this game?
Maybe it's another Beth Williams layout score. But they need to find something. They have come so far and done so well.
But MDC Dawn of Justice are only 5 points away from securing themselves a spot in the finals. As you've said multiple times this weekend, the equation starts to become simpler and simpler. Hammertron must hold and then start scoring those defensive breaks.
Well, one break out of half, okay. 2 breaks out of half, it just gets harder. Every time that you're unable to convert your offense, you just start to get further and further behind. You've got to cover more distance just to get back to parity, let alone get in front and win the actual game.
Hammertron have seen out their D-line now, the defensive players. Carolyn Farris takes a knee to keep that low disc alive. Tucky just manages to hang on to it with a really impressive bid. Farris finds Furnace. Long shot goes up.
Oh, Tucky is in the area. The old man is going to climb up and posterize the young buck. What a grab by Cookson.
We said yesterday in the game, Mobility Scuba versus MDC.
I'm sorry, young man, you just got dunked on.
Experience might need fear the strength of youth. But I think youth needs to fear the strength of Tucky Cookson.
Oh, the throw really wasn't that great. It hung up there, but Cookson just climbs up and makes the play. Oh, he dunked on him.
And that is characteristic of the Hammertron defense, to send somebody out to put a lid on the boiling pot that is MDC. Tucky's going up.
Well, it was in the first half as well. Cookson sensed his team needed him, and, you know, his athletic output rose. And now he sensed his team needs him again, and he just makes one of the greatest catches I have seen this weekend.
If you didn't see it, you wouldn't have believed it. Hammertron coming back out on defense.
It's gonna sit in bounds. This is
A nice floaty pull. Kieran McDonald stopping the first pass. Absolutely phenomenal pressure. Fantastic foot speed to keep them in this game. Forcing that disc backwards. Angus Hines.
much better positioning by Ball.
Fakes
Really
the hammer.
in.
Troy Stevenson keeps it. He wants to send the huck. Doesn't go. Lots of pressure. A wobbly forehand comes out, but it's kept alive by Hines. Winding up something. Broughton. Stevenson on the near sideline, looking to apply that pressure. That reset goes backwards.
This is exactly what Hammertron want. Lots and lots of passes, no passes really exceeding. Oh,
That is exactly the one. His first mistake of the game, Riley Van Turnhout, just putting the disc a little bit ahead of his pass.
Yeah,
Too much lead.
too much of a rush. As I was saying, this is what the Hammertron D wants. Lots and lots of passes, and eventually an unforced error from MDC. Now an unforced error from Hammertron. Really been the story of the game for the hometown heroes.
Another opportunity for MDC, widening up that margin. Angus Hines on the far sideline. Good give and go to Broughton. Forcing it backwards, Becker Neal takes the disc. Then turn out again to Liddell. And those same give and goes. Hammertron haven't shut it down. Defense finally catches up. MDC with the center disc. Troy Stevenson right on the edge of the zone, looking for someone, a high pop. Angus Hines jumps it in.
Dawn of Justice are way too classy. You give them too many opportunities and they will score eventually. 11-6 now. Oh, they're in a great spot for this game. They are so close to a final. They can smell it. They can taste the shoey.
Absolutely phenomenal play by both teams. MDC just again making fewer mistakes, managing to capitalize on the slips that plagued Hammertron during the first couple of points of the game. They're starting to sneak back in to their ultimate in this second half. Can they maintain the focus? Can they dry up those mistakes? Can they keep their heads in this one and cause the upset of the tournament?
Well, this is the best result that Hammertron have ever had at the New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships in Division 1, or when it was just one big tournament with all the teams from NZ. You have to wonder, is this is maybe the occasion getting to them a little bit?
Really,
Maybe the pressure or perceived pressure.
Really the only question that matters to Hammertron now is, will we be happy with a third, fourth playoff? And if the answer is no, what are we going to do to make sure that we come back in this game? Simone Ball finds the disc.
You'd never be happy losing in a semi, but there are so many bright spots for this Hammertron team and the Hammertron club, with two teams, one representing last weekend at Div 2, and now the Hammertron Prime team here at Division 1.
Perfect give and go. Nice passes. Really good connections between Wilson and Carter.
Great
Tie
throw.
upper. Back to Wilson. Finds something. Soper goes to ground.
Says, why'd you punch me, bro? It's just a bit of an awkward coming together, I think. Oh, this is prime ball territory.
Kelly Carter looking for an assist. Goes backwards to go forwards. Vaughan Wilson. Tim Gurman. He wants it.
Just need to be patient.
High shot. Kelly Carter underneath. Gets the score, her second point of the game. Hammertron staying in this, coming out on defensive line. The defensive line that has done so much of the hard work for this beautiful upset.
She's just so good at Old Frisbee. I don't care what team you're picking for. Pick Kelly Carter. I would take her on any team. She is just so good.
So we found a fourth lady for our MVP tournament MVP team.
Oh, what are you talking about? I picked her the other day when we covered Hammertron. I had her
just
picked.
really nice. She's a really nice person. She helped teach me a forehand when I was starting out. And if you have to learn a forehand from anyone in New Zealand, you learn it from Kelly Carter if you can.
Well, Hammertron now, defense, they need a run. 7-11.
Taki Cookson, the old veteran, the grizzled field general has taken the field. Is he looking for a repeat? A read under a high disc in these windy conditions, capitalizing on anything less than perfection from MDC.
Still plenty of time as well. 63 minutes gone on our clock. Time cap will be 90.
Huge chase from the Tron. Pull comes a bit short, gives MDC some free yards. Scuba doesn't come off.
Oh, beautiful switch by
Perfect.
Ferris.
Perfect pressure from the Tron defense. But MDC managed to break away from that pressure. Hines with the disc.
Yeah, Simone Ball is playing much, much better now. She's really warmed into this game defensively. She's doing a great job now playing as the hat, really stopping any soft passes through the middle.
Broughton gets one over the top of the wall. High shot, Soper on the near sideline. Going back to Angus Hines. Through the middle, Hobart. And a drop from Broughton. Otherwise, perfectly secure hands this entire game, doing a fantastic job picking through that Hammertron zone. A drop giving the Tron defense a perfect opportunity to tighten up that margin. Tucky gets this looked off, but Simone Ball receives.
I just want to come back to this Hammertron Flexigan D. Most zone defenses are looking to make the offense throw lots and lots of sideways passes or something like that. The Flexigan, it does give up a few upfield passes, and in that regard, it's different. But you still have to throw lots of passes. So the concept is still the same insofar as wanting to create, the opportunity for the offense really to shoot themselves in the foot. More so than create pressure and create a turnover. They let the offense kind of do it themselves.
You can see in the defensive playing, you mentioned before Simone Ball sitting in that central position of that hexagon-shaped zone. The two people on the mark are looking to try and force as many passes as they can towards her, just so she can run through and snatch those ones up. They've managed to get it across to the other side of the sideline now, far sideline. Low shot. Broughton again manages to hold it in his hands this time, but a timeout's been called.
Well, the Flexigan defense is flexing but not breaking at the moment. They're doing a good job. MDC Dawn of Justice is doing a good job as well. They're maintaining possession. Another break. Teams are going to talk it over. A bit of a rotation there. Saw Cookson switch and play in that mark role. I want to talk about Carolyn Ferris for a moment. She is an important part of this team defensively. She is just so much hard work, and she's doing so much to hold that zone together. But we're never really saying her name because she's just always in the right spot. So there's never a vulnerability of where she is on the field. And it's going largely unnoticed, I think. But without players like that, I don't think this Hammertron Flexigan works nearly as well as it has been.
You can see every time she comes out on that defensive line, she is setting up that mark and never stops running. If a diesel engine could be a person, it would be Carolyn Ferris. She does not stop moving, and that's an integral characteristic to have, a phenomenal level of fitness and just determination that really defines your ability to perform well in that role. As the disc keeps moving, you, the player, need to keep moving to stop those threats, to pinch down on any sneaky continuations that a team like MDC, it's their bread and butter.
So
and for
technically, I believe...
Kieran McDonald on the disc, looking to try and get that defense. Broughton gets one away to Hines. Swing through the middle, Liddell. Scuba, but it's kept alive. Hoban takes it. Low, flat, upside down shot going there. Broughton again looking for a swing. Hines. Broughton again.
Ooh, Ferris taking a huge hit from Hines. She gives the thumbs up. She's okay.
One would go so far as to say Carolyn Ferris is the anti-Vaughan Wilson. They've only got one smile between them, and it looks like Carolyn Ferris is the one who's always wearing it.
Yeah, the disc will stay where it is.
Long shot goes up. Hoban looking for something, but the disc has to go back. Shot across to Broughton. Simone Ball looking to pinch in, doesn't get there in time. MDC maintaining possession. Broughton again, those same give and goes, and we're looking to shut down on the prime defense.
Something else that's rather unusual for Ultimate is most teams will rotate through different strategies to try and find something that works to keep the other team on their toes. Hammertron are persistent, if nothing else. It's all flexible. There's no let's go to match. It's all flex again. It creates another turnover. And the result is that surely there has to be a little bit of frustration for MDC. They've been playing against, traditional zones or traditional match. Oh, another turn. And now they've just got to play against flex again all the way. There's no opportunity to really huck. There's no opportunity to make, those lovely long throws. It's going to be all short and you're just throwing backhands, and it's really, I have to wonder does it wear on you mentally? Is there maybe a mental component now as Hammertron just continue to stick with the flex again?
I think it really comes back down to how you, the individual, want to play Ultimate, whether or not you're given the opportunity to do that. A lot of these players in MDC, they are fast runners. When they get that speed up, they can create easy separation. A lot of their handlers have really long, consistent, straight throws, and you're essentially you're coming up against a zone that isn't letting you use those tools that have carried you to the semi-finals, and that has to be frustrating. And we've seen the Hammertron D-line able to capitalize on the mistakes that come when that frustration overwhelms MDC.
7-12, the margin is still 5 points.
The equation becoming more and more straightforward.
Yeah, the variables less and less, the unknowns.
It's going to carry it. Pushes it
in.
Just in. Vaughan Wilson finds Kelly Carter, and an easy opportunity for MDC close to their attacking zone. Uncharacteristic insecurity in the hands of Kelly Carter. The huck goes up before the defense gets a chance to set. And Troy Stevenson, the Birdman, goes up, pulls it down, bringing MDC within 2 points of the final.
Yeah, at this stage, you cannot be gifting Dawn of Justice an opportunity like that. Broken field, just one throw, and Stevenson, those curly locks flying. They are, but nearly making a play. I don't think it was ever anyone's but Stevenson's.
Here we go, Tron!
MDC coming out on defense. Just 2 breaks away from securing a spot in the final where their seed tells us they should be, where their hearts tell them they should be.
Well, if you're a betting person before the tournament started, you would have not really gotten great odds on there not being an MDC team in the final. Looks like, yeah, stranger things have happened, but Dawn of Justice have looked really, really good this game.
It looks like MDC are coming down and sticking to match defense.
Yeah, they're in single coverage. Called. Valdez getting hung up, trying to cover Taiapa.
Hard work. Mehdi Taiapa, known as the fastest player in Hammertron. Maybe not just for his foot speed, but for a speeding ticket incurred after driving back after the Opens Championships at the beginning of the year. Kelly Carter gets a fingertip to it, but the throw goes away.
This is where you start to see what players are made of. You're down a long way in the game, 6 points in fact.
Puck goes up. Andrew Johnson wants it.
Then turnout, gets a hand to it and drops it.
Just enough pressure by Andrew Johnson, one of the fastest sets of feet on the team. Just applying just enough pressure to the monster that is Van Turnhout, getting him to go just a second too early. Doesn't manage to pull that one down. Michael Downey with the disc, looking for a reset. Finds it in Andrew Johnson. Finds Wilson. Taiapa with a nice cup, and the defense covers it. Anne-Marie McDonald looking for Beth. Really hungry pressure by that DC. Danielle Paul nearly getting a hand to it before Beth grabs it. Manny Taiapa outside a bid, pulls the disc in, finds Anne-Marie McDonald. Shot up the middle to Michael Downey. Where's his support? Kelly Carter doesn't make the same mistake twice. Downey swinging the disc wide to Andrew Johnson, back through the middle to Taiapa.
Taiapa is lining Valdez up at the moment. Valdez really struggling to cover the speedy man from Hammertron.
Low shot, Anne-Marie keeps it off the grass. Pop pass back to Kelly Carter. Downey's going, Michael Downey's going. It's match of the 22s and brings it down over Kitty. What a power play.
Look who threw it, Kelly Carter, the superstar. What a backhand huck that was. That was only ever one player's. She goes straight to the shade and dies, does Carter. she's lying down under the shelter. Oh dear, she is doing everything she can to get her team into the final. I really don't think that I don't think that Hammertron can really be that disappointed. They have played excellently all weekend, and whilst their performance in this game hasn't been probably to what they would like, I mean, it's the first time they've ever made a semi-final. You know, sometimes you need to lose before you can win. Sometimes you need to go through that disappointment to give you that fire and that drive to go further next time. And that is a monster pull. Broughton uncomfortable underneath it, lets it fly.
Enough time for the Hammertron defense to really lock down that pressure. In the defending end zone, a shot, risky shot, but Broughton keeps it alive. That same Hammertron zone, really grinding that pressure in, trying to keep the disc where it is. Is there an opportunity for Callahan here?
Tell Dawn Justice just slightly uncomfortable. Most teams are when it comes to playing zone from their own end zone.
But Soper keeps that low disc up, helps to break MDC DOJ. Dawn of Justice out of their zone, widening up the field, finally giving their offense a chance to start moving. Broughton again finds Stevenson on the near sideline. Mairangi Hogan to stop the continuation. Again, Carolyn Farris, always busy, does not stop moving.
And again, we see MDC, they've thrown 30 passes and gone approximately 18 metres.
Scuba goes up. It's kept alive. Soper gets it. High shot. Mairangi Hogan with the read. Absolute perfect positioning. Lucas Wilcock takes the centering disc to Simone Ball, back to Wilcock. Low shot. Aroha Hughes dead, lays it in the zone. It's just outside. Mairangi Hogan looking for an opportunity to assist. Doesn't see it. Finds the reset in Simone Ball. Again, the dangerous red zone thrower, but
Stall call.
Stall has been called.
Yes, Soper saying she hit 10. It was a high stall. So the players are going to discuss this.
The one thing that my team captains have always said is you really only have to play 10 seconds of hard defense before you get a turn. They don't tell you that that has to be 10 consecutive seconds. But Hammer goes up. Yes! Oh! Hammertron Prime dropped the hammer after a stall was distracted. The stall 9 hammer to the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like a contested stall. So the disc comes back in on 8, and this is often why when I'm coaching a team, I will tell players to slow down their count as they hit 9. Because generally speaking, most people will make a poor decision if they're throwing the disc on stall 9.75. When there's a contested stall out, as in you hit 10 too fast, it comes back in on 8. So there's less pressure in that situation than there would have been had you slowed down. We see the perfect example. Gives Hogan the opportunity to have a read and then throw a hammer. That it was perfect.
She'll be putting that one on the CV for sure. Hammertron defense to come down again. 4 points in this game. One hold and 1 break for MDC to win it, take a spot in the final. But Hammertron are already pouring on the pressure. Kieran McDonald, that massive chase down the field, former sprinter. And a hand block by Ferris.
No, he just slipped out of Neil's hands. That is astounding. I cannot believe it.
Idaho Hughes with the disc. Contact was made.
Hughes and Hogan have played well. Oh, McLaurin is all kinds of open. Van Turnout with a huge bid, and he doesn't like it, but McLaurin loves it. He scored again. That's 13-10.
A bid just outside. The fist slams into the ground. McLaurin has reason to celebrate his 2nd point of the game.
Well, surely they don't. Surely Hammertron can't win this.
The world is holding its breath.
If Hammertron win this, I will be a fan for life.
Join us.
Never will I have ever seen such tenacity and determination to fight back.
Join us, Daniel. Join the Tron train. Choo choo. Let's go.
Yeah. The important thing is that Hammertron, they've had several of their players not have particularly good games, but they've found other players who have now come in and contributed. Hughes and Hogan, like I said, Mani Taiapa has had a really good game. Taki Cookson, the veteran. It's just the names that we weren't calling, a day or 2 days ago when we covered Hammertron the first time. All of a sudden, they're starting to really lift and bring Hammertron back into this game.
Keeping in mind that in your traditional vert and horizontal stacks, you have specializations in your players. You have handlers, you have cutters. Handlers, confident throws, long throws, nice short movement. Cutters, excellent acceleration when they're making those initiation cuts, and really high top speed so they can make their space in the end of the zone. In something like the hexagon offense, there's no differentiation between handlers and cutters. Everyone needs to be able to throw. Everybody needs to be able to move. And so, yeah, well, in the previous games, we were focusing and highlighting a couple of really strong players in that game. They don't have to always be the superstar, and we're finding that in this game now. A lot of those players are coming to the fore. They're having their opportunity to shine, doing the exact same work that those other teams did.
Oh, nice throw by Gordon to Stevenson. We're into the red zone now.
This is an opportunity to pull within 1 of the final. Troy Stevenson's looking for an overhead. Little poppy shot, but that pressure is on.
Great fake from Hickey.
High shot to Angus Hines. To Broughton. Pressuring that defense. Hickey again. Back through to Stevenson. But the continuation stopped. Van Turnhout's there. Stevenson. Good patience from MDC. They're picking these holes. They're finding these opportunities. Patience with the disc is doing them amazing favors. Hammer goes up. And Stevenson brings it down. 1 point away from the final.
even when they score, it still doesn't look, that great. But it's a good score and everything. But you can tell that it's uncomfortable for Dawn of Justice to work against the Flex again. It's just weird. They're not comfortable. And to their credit, MDC have done a really good job of still converting and being efficient with the Frisbee. They're up. There's 1 point until they're in the final. But you can tell that this has really upset their game. That they're not comfortable out there. They're not doing this easily. Whilst the scoreline isn't particularly close,
it just means that the margins for MDC are a lot narrower than they're used to. A lot of their games, they're tending to be blown wide open. They're getting huge separation. You've got power players like Troy Stevenson who can get clear of just about anyone in the New Zealand Ultimate community. And he's being absolutely pinned down by a really tight defense. It's fantastic to see, and it's really working MDC. If they go through the finals, they will have earned their spot. And no mistake.
Well, pressure's on now. Hammertron, they have to do it, or they go to the third place playoff.
Williams to Carter. Ball again. Finds Tim Gurman. Andrew Johnson. Anne-Marie. Finds Gurman. Hefty fakes to move the defender, finding Williams with the disc. That same flow. Johnson, Michael Downey, Kelly Carter, Tim Gurman.
They're not stopping anything at the moment.
Huck goes up. Beth Williams with another birthday present. There it is. Happy birthday, Beth.
I thought Gurman had zoinked that out the back. It is perfect. What do I know? It drops into Williams' lap.
That really is the exact kind of hexagon offense that we want to see. That level of flow so fast we barely have time to say the players' names before the disc is moved on to somebody else and someone pulls it down in the end zone to keep them within 3. But with MDC Dawn of Justice coming out on offense, 1 point away from finishing this game, 1 point away from securing their spot in the finals. It's break or bust for Hammertron Prime.
Yeah, if there's a spot where a long shot is open in that hexagon offense, it is, just kind of outside the red zone where there's 25, 30 meters to go to the end zone, because then a throw to the back is not exactly a deep throw. It's more of a sitting throw that it's just a score.
All right, defense now. Kieran McDonald, clear separation from the rest of the pack. Wants to be the first one down there, wants to stop the first throw. Helps the rest of the zone catch up. Angus Hines on the far sideline. Van Turnhout. Shot goes up. Danielle Paul. Van Turnhout. Hines. Lots of pressure from that defense now. But the shot goes up anyway. Danielle Paul. Swing across. Van Turnhout just manages to keep it alive. Broughton again. High shot goes up. Hines is unmarked. Abby Liddell. McNeil. Pressuring them backwards. All of that forward momentum slowly being arrested. Kieran McDonald opens up Angus Hines on the near sideline. Looking for a low release. Wants to send the forehand, doesn't go. Finds Danielle Paul. Broughton working backwards, trying to keep that forward momentum alive. Far sideline now, Abby Liddell. Back to Broughton. Becca Neal, the pressure's on there. Van Turnhout, one of the power handlers, sends it across to Hines. And that's the game.
There it is.
There it is.
MDC go to the final. It is heartbreak for the hometown Hammertron. They go to the third place playoff. Oh, the tears. They could have done it too. They're going to have to rue their opportunity here. they're going to have to go away and have a look at that game again because what could have been, but it's happiness. It's celebrations. MDC, they go to the final. They get the opportunity to play for the title of the best mixed team in New Zealand for 2019.
We will be back with you shortly. Big congratulations to MDC, Dawn of Justice. We will be back with our bronze final match after this.
Alti.tv